Hi, Caitlin. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What brings you in today?
I'm just really stressed about school.
Why? What's going on with school?
Well, I'm in a program that is an 8-week semester, and it's just really condensed, and I have a lot of assignments, and with work and everything, it's a lot.
Okay, what are you going to school for?
I'm getting my teaching certificate. It's a post-bachelorette program.
Okay.
So my semester's actually ending tomorrow, and then I start a 7-week semester after that, so I'm pretty nervous.
Okay. How's it been going?
I don't know. I can't really tell. It's been very, very hectic. I've been fighting with work a lot, getting them to cut back my hours because school is more important. But I have a lot of stuff due every day. It's like 3 assignments per day. In my one class, I'm kind of falling behind a little bit. But today I actually got everything in, so I'm almost done.
Okay, so that must be a little relieving.
A little bit. We have our Keystone assignments that are due this coming week, and I have a lot of work to do, but I do have the next couple of days off from work, so hopefully I'll be able to get it done in that time.
Yeah. What kind of work do you do?
I work at Target. I work in the food section, so it doesn't seem that stressful, but holidays are starting to come up, so customers are getting pretty crazy.
Do you like it there?
No, but it's a job, and I've worked there for a while, so I make more than minimum wage, so it's not worth leaving.
Yeah. Did you ever think about looking for something else?
I've actually been talking to my boyfriend's brother. He's a manager at Sports Authority, and they pay a little bit more, so he's trying to talk to his manager to see if I can get a position there. He says it's much less stressful, and
Yeah.
they are more accommodating in terms of hours, so hopefully it works out.
Do you think it would be less stressful in school if you got a different job, or?
Oh, absolutely. Sports Authority is only open until 9:30. Target's open until 11, so what usually ends up happening is I have class from 9:30 to 1:30, and it's an hour commute home. And then usually get home 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then I have work starting at 4, and we don't close until 11.
That
so
must be really tough.
yeah, it's hard balancing. That's kind of why I'm falling behind in school, because I don't have time to do my assignments. So I'm staying up late, or I'm waking up really early in the morning to get them done, and I'm not always getting them done. So it's been balancing act this semester.
Yeah. So schools, I hear, it's really stressful.
Yeah, the program, we have to maintain a 3.0 in every subject. New Jersey changed their standards. So it's scary. I've always had above a 3.0, but nothing this condensed before. So, I don't know. I'm finding it really hard. I have one class that I just don't like, and I don't get along with the professor. So, trying to get everything in and get everything on time, and it's rough, and she doesn't like me, so.
Why do you think that is? Why don't you have a good relationship?
Well, there was this incident a couple weeks ago. She was handing back papers, and she gave me her grade sheet for the whole class, and I had emailed her about it. I realized it the next morning, so I emailed her, and I knew she had class the next day. So I said I can drop it off because her class is right next to mine, and she never responded. So my class ended up getting out early, so I didn't want to leave it in her mailbox because it kind of had confidential information on it. So I knocked on the door, I apologized for interrupting, and I asked her if she got my email, and she goes, yes. So I said, well, here you go, and I handed it to her, and she goes, I just want you to know you're interrupting my class. And I was like, sorry. And the following week I had class with her, and she was very, very nice to me. I think she ended up responding to that email that Sunday. I had emailed her Thursday morning, and she responded that Sunday, not realizing that I had already given her the grade sheet, telling me to hand it to her when I saw her next. So I don't think she knew who I was, and she just assumed I was handing in something late. And since then, she tried to be nice, but she gets very snippy with me, so I don't really know why that is.
Does that affect your relationship in the classroom, or is that just kind of outside?
No, I think it's definitely in the classroom. I don't feel like, I don't know, I don't want to participate in class. I said something actually yesterday about somebody else was presenting, we had reading lessons we had to present, and she asked what happened to people who did not people who sided with the British during the American Revolution. And I said they went back to England. She goes, no. And went on to talk about how they went to Canada when they did get sent back to England. As a history major, I mean, I'm sure people did go to Canada. They went both ways, but because I said it, I felt like she was just like, no. I moved on, so I don't think I would. And I have her next semester as well, so I don't think I'd be participating very much in her class.
Do you think that your relationship with her is adding to the stress level?
Oh, absolutely. I don't like going to her class now. Her assignments are getting more. I don't even know. Her assignments are much more detailed. She was a reading specialist, so her assignments are focused on reading in the content area. So it takes a lot of time and for me to pay attention to do them, and I just don't want to. I don't know if she's going to be grading me fairly or how it's going to be. I actually found out she sent out an email to there's I believe 9 of us in the class, and she sent out an email to 6 students that the title was for my top students, or it wasn't my favorite, I think it was my top students, that handed in their assignment early. And she was saying that she expected more from them, and she didn't even grade mine, but she actually put on there my top students in the email. And I don't mean to sound from a jealous standpoint, but it's just like, as a teacher, you shouldn't do that, and you're obviously showing your professional bias. So why should I? You already made up your mind. Why should I even try?
Well, would you say that added to your negative view of her?
Oh, absolutely. What they're trying to teach us, we have a lot of former principals, former superintendents as professors, and she's doing exactly what they're telling us not to do as teachers. If you like one student, I mean, naturally you are going to like some people more than you like others, but you shouldn't show it, especially when you're in a position like that. So I feel like identifying who your favorite students are, I mean, the way my program works, it's a cohort, so I have the same classes with every single group of students. So there's 6. There are 6 of us that are together Monday through Friday. Do you really think nobody's gonna know? And she knows how the program works. She's worked for it with that particular program for years. So you think 6 people aren't gonna discuss an email that you sent out, and then the rest are just gonna sit there and be like, okay, well, that's not appropriate.
Yeah, so that must have hurt your feelings.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since everything I've handed to her, I've gotten 100 on. There's just one demo lesson that I did that I got a 13 out of 15 on, but everything else I've gotten a perfect grade on, but I'm not her top student.
Why do you think she addressed the email like that?
I don't know. I guess because they handed in their work. Well, the content of the email, they actually showed it to me, was saying that her top students, she thought that they could have spent more time on the graphic organizer and differentiated the learning more in it. So I don't know if there's an issue with that, but either way, it shouldn't have been worded. At least I don't think so. That way.
So how are your other classes going?
They're good. I have the same professor Monday and Tuesday. And she's a great professor. She's crazy. We definitely get the most work with her. One of them is my lesson planning class for instructional design, and then my other is my intro class. It's a little confusing, but it's good. And then my Thursday class, I have used to be the superintendent of Point Pleasant Schools, and he's very laid back. You can tell he genuinely wants us to do well. That makes us want to do well because we don't want to let him down. That class is actually going really well, so.
So it sounds like you enjoy the program, just not that one particular class because of how that teacher treats you. Is that like what you're trying to say?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's overwhelming, especially because she's the only professor I have both marking periods. Not marking period. I'm talking like in high school again. Both semesters. And I also found out 2 days ago that she is one of 4 professors at my school that's certified to evaluate us in the classroom. So right now I'm in my 60 hours of observation. Well, I'm doing 150 hours from now until January, and in that 150 hours, she's one of 4 people that will be evaluating my performance, and she's also, I shouldn't teach in January, she will also be one of the people that will be evaluating me
So
then.
that, I'm assuming that's making you more nervous about it.
Very much so, because that could decide whether or not I get my teaching
Mhm.
certificate, and it could also decide how principal or potential employer looks based on an evaluation. I mean, if they're sitting in the classroom watching too, and they happen to look at her evaluation, if she's not feeling particularly fond of me that day, it could go either way. So, it's definitely something that's on my mind.
Do you think there's like a way that you can improve your relationship with her?
I'm just gonna keep my distance. The more I seem to try to participate in her class, the more she's very. I think she realizes she does it, and then she feels bad, but she can't help herself from doing it. Like the other day, I would just sit back and let the class handle the answers. I wouldn't really try and just give her space. Let my work speak for itself. Let her forget who I am.
Okay, so going back to work, do you think there's any way that your place of employment could improve to where you like it better and you wouldn't leave?
Yeah, our store's gone through a lot of management changes lately, and even the company is being completely restructured. So the philosophy has kind of shifted. One of the major concerns of everyone is we were all used to working 8-hour shifts. Now we're cut down to 4-hour shifts because they're going under the I don't know what to call it, but they believe that it's more beneficial for them to pay 2 people to work 4 hours each, and each person only get 1 break instead of paying for 1 person to be there for 8 hours and having to give them 3 breaks. So that's frustrating because they're hiring a lot of new people that don't know what they're doing, and it's making it harder for because I'm in school all day. I have to close at night, so I'm always working until 11, and they have these people there during the day that don't really know what they're supposed to do. It's a very new. We don't have really people that have been working there for very long, so they're not being trained properly, and then you get in and you have the whole day's mess. And instead of being able to just go to work, go on autopilot, and get what I have to get done, I'm doing the work from the beginning of the day that never got done. So definitely adds to the stress.
Did you ever think of like talking to like a manager or something about it?
I had spoken to Human Resources several times in July and August when it had started. Target is in any job, you can't talk about what somebody else is doing. Human Resources can't talk about that with you, which is perfect. I prefer it that way. But it's very difficult to be fired from Target once you've worked there for more than 90 days. Unless you steal or every manager in the building has it out for you, it's near impossible to get fired. So the people that weren't working at the time, a lot of them have since quit, but now they're hiring new people, and the same thing's happening. The managers are very removed from where we are, so they really don't, as long as it gets done at the end of the night, that's all they care, and since we are getting it done at the end of the night, it's not really a real issue for them.
So they don't really care about your feelings as long as something's getting done.
Exactly. We also had the problem when I first started school. I had gone to Human Resources, and since I've worked at Target, I've been in college. I worked there all throughout my undergrad. I even transferred to a store down by where I went to school, and they were great. And then Human Resources had got promoted and had somebody else new come in, and since then, the focus hasn't as much been on education. When I had spoken to her, she said it was fine, I could cut back on work, and then when school started, they started scheduling me as a full-time employee. I was getting at least 32 hours a week.
That must have been very stressful.
Yeah, I was
Especially
going
with your
crazy.
Schoolwork.
I was going home early a lot, and they were getting fed up with me. And I had to sit down and have the conversation with them that I keep saying, I've told you more than once I'm in school, I cannot work full-time. And one of the not the Human Resources manager, one of the Human Resources team members got very defensive because I questioned the schedule. I said, I don't know why I'm being scheduled this much. I've always been a part-time employee.
Hold on 1 second.
It's still going.
Okay.
I've always been a part-time employee, so I don't understand. And her response was, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I was kind of thrown off because I was just like, all I'm asking is to be scheduled a little bit less. And she asked me how many hours per week I wanted to work, and I said between 20 and 25 is manageable for me. Because I do understand I've been there for a while. I'm one of the only people that is allowed to train people within the store. So, I also went to my own manager, who I am close with. I've worked for her for years. And she completely understood where I was coming from. The schedule came out for the following week, and they had me down to 15 hours per week. And I also feel like that is just them playing games.
Well, yeah, because it's not what you asked for.
No, and I've been more than accommodating for them all summer. One of the people that had, it's called a P-Fresh assistant, they had to work from 6:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon, took a leave of absence, and they needed somebody to fill in, and they were scheduling me. They weren't that person makes more money than I do. They were not paying me for that position because it was only temporary, which I didn't mind. The hours were decent. But I filled in for them when they needed it, and it's kind of always been that kind of relationship with us. Like, during the holidays, Thanksgiving night, I always work overnight. I always work 2 shifts, Black Friday and the other. And that's kind of why they've always been accommodating for me. And I was very turned off with this whole situation, so I'd gone to my own manager, and she felt that the whole situation was ridiculous. And she's now manually putting me on the schedule. They're consistently giving me 15 hours a week, and she's manually putting me on for about 25. Which I feel bad for her because that's not her job to do.
Right.
She has things she has to take care of. She shouldn't be worrying about this. But it makes me feel a little more sane that it's not just me being crazy or overreacting, that it actually is a problem that she's willing to address.
So now you feel like you have somebody on your side as opposed to them going against what you want.
Oh, absolutely. And because she kept doing, I mean, she's not the store manager, but she's probably, I would say, second or third in charge of the store. And she had advised me not to go to Human Resources because she felt that Human Resources needs to be restructured and that there are some internal problems, and to just go to her. So I've been, for the past month and a half, she's been putting me on the schedule. So now Human Resources is seeing that because I'm not on the schedule, but I'm in the computer to work. So I don't know what the problem is, but this new schedule that they put out, they're putting me on for 22 hours. So I don't know if they're seeing that what they were doing was unfair, or they're just not being stubborn anymore.
Well, it's good that they're improving now.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. I just hope it doesn't go the opposite way. The other problem is when I go to, because I have to set my availability, and you have the maximum hour per week you can work. It won't let me change that. It only allows me, not to put in, it has that I'm capable of working 40 hours a week, and will not let me change that. So I'd addressed that with her, and she said, if they schedule you too much, give it to me and I'll take the shift away. So it's definitely comforting knowing she's willing to
accommodate
your
needs. Yeah. Okay, so school's been stressful because of one particular teacher playing favorites, sort of, and then work is just adding up the hours, but seems to be winding down.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that we can work more on it our next session, and I hope everything continues to improve. But it was very nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too.
Okay, thanks.